This better?
It's not coming up yet, but it should momentarily.
Are we live? We're back.
Yep, that's
We're okay?
Yep,
Okay.
we're good.
So sorry, you guys. Thank you.
Some technical difficulties, which happens. We're going to talk about technical difficulties
We are.
in a second. But so I'm Steve Braun,
And I'm Risa Brayman Garcia.
the notorious RBG, and so we're here today to talk about headshots, and in particular the recent photo that was released of our First Lady, Melania Trump. Now, just to preface this all, we're not here to troll the First Lady. She's clearly a beautiful woman. In fact, made her business beauty as a model for some time.
Yeah.
However, the shot that came out, and you can go to BraymanGarciaBraun.com/Melania to see the picture, or you can just Google it too, but go to BraymanGarciaBraun.com/Melania to check out the officially released photo.
And Felipe is going to put that link
Felipe.
on the feed
Right.
below us so that you can go right there if you want to. So we could all be referring to the same photograph
Right.
of Melania that just came out yesterday as the First Lady official headshot.
And we're gonna reference this because the headshot or the shot, it's not even necessarily about
Right.
a
Portrait.
headshot, but
Yeah.
but all the same, there are elements to this picture that show up in actors' headshots, and this picture, this is not a good picture. And again, clearly a beautiful woman, and who knows who had creative control over this whole situation, but this shot is dreadful for many, many reasons, and we're going to talk about them. Again, not in the interest of trolling anyone, but in the interest of figuring this out and getting to a place where actors can show up with a headshot that is not this disastrous. So Risa has been doing this for 35 years or so, looking at headshots and being moved by them or not, so she has a little bit to say about it. I've been doing it for about a decade and a half, less than that, all the same, have some points of view about it.
Are you talking about how much younger you are than me and how much better you look in a picture than
Experience, darling. Experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
So let's all look at this headshot, and I think the first thing that shows up, that pops out and smacks you in the face is Risa Brayman Garcia.
There's nothing happening there. It is completely processed.
Bam.
Bam. She is. There's no. First of all, there's no human really there. It's just incredibly touched up, which can be very dangerous.
Airbrushed, if you will.
Airbrushed, yes.
Why is that dangerous? Why is that a problem? She doesn't want her wrinkles. Why? So let's get rid of them.
First of all, I don't think it looks like her authentically, and that's what we're always looking for, no matter who the person is. Secondly, there's no representation of a human being there. So there's the human being part of it, and then there's the personal part of it. And if she's trying to look like a 14-year-old, she's doing a really good job, but it's a plasticized 14-year-old, right? And is that where we're headed? Is that what we want to look like? Is that the object of our intent when we're trying to show ourselves?
And that speaks to what is the intention. And so, a whole page of actors' headshots will show up on your computer screen
50 or 100 at a time.
in anticipation of a show that you're casting.
Right.
What should the actor's intention be? What is her intention here? And we reference her because actors do this too.
Yeah, all the time.
Men and women.
Yeah.
Airbrushed out. So what is the intention, do you think? What should be the intention of an actor when they take a headshot and process it? Anyway.
Well, we've talked about this a lot. It's like, we want to see you. We want to know who you are.
Why? Why?
Why? Because how else are we going to access you? I mean, this is a bigger issue that we have, which we'll talk about later, by the way, and we're going to do some Facebook Lives about headshots, reels, websites, and all that stuff later on in the month. But overall, if we don't know who you are, if we don't see you, if we don't get a full sense of you, then we will skip over you. You will disappear. You will become a plasticized or inanimate version of yourself, which is not what we want. We want a full breathing, alive human being. And we want to know who you are, which is your job as an actor, to bring that forth in everything you do, including your headshot.
And as you look at this picture, there are other things here. Now, obviously, glaringly, the airbrushing is the thing that hits you the most. We're looking down here because this is where the picture is.
Yeah, we're looking at the picture here. So wherever you're looking at it, it's there. And you know what, Felipe, you could even pop that picture up on the feed if you want to pull it off at your computer and just pop it right up. So you can come to our site, BraymanGarciaBraun.com/Melania, and see the photo, or you can see it in the headshot that Felipe is going to put up there.
But then beyond that, you've got the hair, and you've got the outfit and the scarf and the rings and the nails and the either canvas background that looks White Housey or the White House itself.
It's the window. It's the famous window.
But is it though? Is that the West Wing or is that Sears Portrait Studio? We don't know. And the reason why all of this stuff as a collection is a problem is because this reveals running from insecurity. So on the one hand, you can be your best self in a shot. In the other hand, you can put all this stuff up so that no one sees who you are.
And if no one sees who you are, you disappear.
Right.
And we don't access you, and we lose interest.
Right.
I mean, which is huge.
In our lizard brains,
Yeah.
we're wired to be social animals.
Yeah.
And so when you show up with humanity, and again, your best self, so go on and polish.
Yeah.
But if you take away the things that make you human, it won't trigger, in someone's lizard brain that, oh, I relate to this person. There's an investment here. And again, who knows what Melania or the administration's intention is with this shot? But this shows nothing of
I
human.
think we know what the intention is.
Go ahead.
The intention is to make her look as young and beautiful and superpowery as possible. I mean, she looks like a cartoon character. Again, no offense to her personally,
Yeah.
but she looks like a cartoon character in a comic book of some superhero, gorgeous woman. It's an idea, right? And it's not human.
And all I see in this shot is distraction. Don't look at me because I'm not comfortable, or somebody's not comfortable with the way that she looks, which is preposterous. Again, if you see this woman live, or even with makeup on, she's stunning. She's a beautiful woman. But when a headshot comes up and all it is running from insecurity, running from suffering, you're saying, I don't like myself. Look over here. There or there or there.
It's understandable. We all have issues about the way we look in some way or another. Not all of us, but many of us, And so I'm not getting any younger, and I certainly we'll look at a photograph and say, well, to the photographer, well, maybe just take a couple of the bags out here and a little bit there, and one time that happened, and what was sent back to me was this, and it was horrifying, and I realized the danger of what that is.
Sure.
And I think for women especially is that we don't want to look like ourselves, and that's a real problem. That's a real problem in our culture. It's a much bigger issue than this.
Sure.
I was watching Grace and Frankie last night, and watching these two gorgeous women who have had a lot of face work done, and it was, I think, last week's episode that I was just watching, have them airbrushed for a product that they're doing, a vibrator thing. Spoiler alert, I suppose. But and they were airbrushed to look much, much younger, but I'm thinking how odd this is, because they're already plasticized, the two of them, and they're women in their 70s. So what is the point at which it's okay for you to touch it up a little bit, but still, as you said, look your best self, right? But not do this to yourself.
Well, and again, on some level, disingenuous for us to say, because we don't understand Melania Trump's struggles. Her face is out there being scrutinized consistently, and like many actors we know, So, and here we are, criticizing the ways in which she protects herself, or that they protect themselves.
Right.
That said, as an actor, it's important to look at this and be truthful about what you see here, because it's your job, actually, in spite of all that fear of and the shame of, and what if they don't think I look X, Y, or Z, or
young enough, beautiful enough,
all of that
sexy
stuff,
enough,
which
hot enough.
Again, women get way more
Yeah.
than men do, so I can't speak to that fully. But at the same time, that's your job. It's your job to reveal vulnerability and humanity, to know where that line is between your best self and running from insecurity,
And
which doesn't move anybody.
And all the character that you have.
Right.
I think we have gotten to a point in our society where we're undermining that. We want to look like everybody else. We want to look just one-dimensional. People say to me all the time, well, I want this version of the headshot, and my agent wants that version of the headshot, and those are all different parts of you, but the headshot, the photo that's going to jump out of a screen of 50 or 100 people is the person who has a full human life, and the person who's showing the full extent of their character.
Right, so you know what? Do yourself a favor. Go to BraymondGarciaBraun.com/Melania. Look at this picture. Throw away any of your political, whatever, your criticisms in that regard. Look at this picture. Figure out how you're moved or not moved. And you know what? Look at your own headshot and see whether there are notions in that headshot that are nothing more than running from insecurity, that reveal your shame, that reveal you not being happy with yourself. What you want in a headshot is presence. Human presence. What's unique about you showing up fully in that moment. We'll talk about that more in other Facebook Lives.
Yeah, and listen, this isn't a heavy, life or death thing with Melania Trump. I mean, or for you in how you put yourself forth. I mean, this is the joy of you being seen and figuring out what that's like for you. And one of the things you can do, which is a really fun exercise, which you should do, is take your phone, get a friend to do it or do selfies, and start shooting yourself just on your phone and do a whole series of pictures and see what speaks to you, what moves you, what is evocative for you, and then you'll understand the difference.
And again, we see some folks commenting saying, you know, Georgia, we hear you, shame on us. It's a beautiful photo. We wholeheartedly disagree, but we're making the distinction between this is clearly a beautiful woman. This photographer, this processing, did not reveal to us any of that beauty.
And the thing is, you know, this photo aside, what it triggered in us, which is really why we are frustrated with all of this, is that if you take pictures like that and you put those forward, you're not going to be seen. You're not going to be authentic. You're not going to be full, and people will assume that you're hiding something, as Steve said. Additionally, that we don't know who you are and you don't want us to know who you are, and so we'll skip right over you. Are there any comments, Felipe, that we want to, or any questions or things that you want to identify that people are posting? Because we're going to wrap this up in a couple minutes. Yeah.
No questions, just a comment from a retoucher who says that he knows that his work should always be invisible. It's about minimal cleanup, not erasing people's pores and beautiful imperfections. This portrait is not a photograph, it is a digital painting, an interpretation of her image.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and again, this notion of your best self is an interesting one. And everyone has to look at their headshot in as much as it's a representation of you and what's unique about you. Then you know, if that's the case, then you're in good shape. But then there's a line, and when you cross it, we reveal, or what's revealed to us is you running from yourself, and it's not. I'm going to say attractive. I don't mean that in any sort of
appealing. It doesn't pull you in.
It doesn't draw you in.
It doesn't draw you in.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't require
Yeah.
an emotional investment, and that's what we're looking for more than anything. And that's why we use this picture, because these are glaring mistakes that actors also make, and so we reference this.
And I think that it spills over into the work that you do in the audition room, the work you do in class, the work that you do when you walk onto a set or even into rehearsal. This is all about being willing to be seen and to see the absolute full part of yourself. I was reading this morning, I think it was something on Backstage actually, about the Broadway actors who had sung at the Manhattan Class Company miscast gala, and they all said the same thing over and over again. It's that odd, interesting, unique part of you that people want. It's not about you fitting into a box, and it's not about you trying to be somebody other than who you are, or to fit into some idea of what somebody wants from you. And as soon as you do that, as soon as you find what is truthful, specific, personal, special, and unique about you, then people start to go, oh, I want to know that person,
right.
You specifically. So for all of you, that's it. That's what we want, and we want to see that in your photograph. And frankly, whatever my feeling is about the politics of all of this, I'm interested in that woman, deeply interested in what she's going through, and I am not seeing any of that there. And you can call that beautiful. I just call that not human. Right. So.
Thank you so much, everyone.
There
is one question we can get to real quick.
Right.
Just, go ahead, Felipe. Yeah.
Amy's wondering, how much of a role do you feel the photographer plays in the outcome of the headshot?
A lot.
Yeah.
It's on you. It's on you to show up fully, but you need to find a photographer who can work with you and who can, who's willing to and partners with you in revealing who you are.
Right.
So if you're comfortable with that, then it's on the photographer to help that happen.
And we'll talk more about this soon.
Yeah. So here's the thing, you guys. We're going to do this series toward the end of the month. We're going to start at the end of April, and we'll announce that, and you'll know all about that soon. We're going to do a series of 3 Facebook Lives where we're going to give you some tips and some information, some short bites. The first one will be about headshots and resumes. The second one will be about websites, reels, and the third one will be about websites. And from each of those, we'll then, if you come and watch it and if you access it with us, then we'll give you the gift of a fuller audio that takes you into some bit longer detail about what this is.
Right.
Yeah? And so we'll have those available soon for you. But we just felt so compelled to talk about this now because of the inspiration of that photo and what it did to us and for us, and so thanks for being a part of that. Please put your comments below, share the video if you feel compelled to do so. You don't have to agree with us, you can ask questions, but this is again about us trying to find you, see you, and help you be your full authentic self.
Thanks, everyone.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.